Hey guys, Swing7 here, and today doing a video on my thoughts for the Warzone mode and Call of Duty new Battle Royale mode that has come out for Modern Warfare. And I'm going to be going all over the place in this video, try to go over as much as I can because, I mean, there is a lot to it. There's a lot of stuff in this game that has been taken from other BRs. There's a lot of things that are new or are like a little bit of an evolution of things that we've seen in other BRs. And just in general, a lot to talk about. First thing I want to say though, like right off the bat, is that if you watched any of my other videos on MW, like even though this is a Battle Royale mode, and you know that'll make things a little bit different, I would say that if you know my general like opinions on this game, as far as the multiplayer goes, for the base game, you'll know how I'm gonna feel about most of the things in Warzone because. As you'd expect, a lot of it carries over. You know, it's not that much different. Don't get me wrong. It does change things a little bit. Like, for example, having like the longer time to kill obviously impacts things a lot, whereas with the base game, you die in a frame. A lot of the time, by automatics, you literally die in a frame. So, like, things like that change things. Of course, multiplayer, just having the, like, small, focused environment. Whereas in here, you can get shot from so many different angles. You're on this huge map, which has point of interest that are, you know, some of them are like the ground war maps, stuff like that. It just plays out a lot differently. So I guess, like, to recap right off the start, as far as I go with Modern Warfare, I still haven't played the campaign, but multiplayer wise, I still think this is the worst pub Call of Duty that I've played, and I think it's because of skill-based matchmaking. I think that I don't think that's the biggest reason why. I think that it is just a poor pub Call of Duty. But I do think that is one of the biggest contributing factors. Like, if skill-based matchmaking wasn't a thing, this game would not be as unappealing as it is to me to play in a pub environment. Like, there's a reason why I've pretty much almost exclusively played Ground War since this game came out, which is still my favorite mode. So yeah, like pubs in MW, I just don't really care for them. I've played such a low amount of pubs in this game that's actually kind of ridiculous. As far as competitive goes, actually, you know, I find competitive fun in even the worst Call of Duties. I think it can always make the game fun. Like, you remove a lot of the dumb stuff. You know, even with subpar maps, it can still be pretty fun. Problem with this game is that there's obviously no ranked mode, so that's a little frustrating. So as far as comp goes, I like the gameplay. For the most part, there are some issues with it, but I really wish that there was a ranked mode. I think a ranked mode would make this game a lot more enjoyable to me. Competitively, you know, if I'm going to be getting into these skill-based matchmaking sweaty pubs, I might as well play ranked with a rank and get something for playing those sweaty matches, but oh well. I guess I don't think that's going to happen at this point. So my favorite part about Modern Warfare so far, this will transition pretty nicely into talking about the BR here, is Ground War. Ground War has been my favorite part of the game. Not for everybody. It's just, yeah, the type of mode that it is, especially like for the COD player base, not made for everyone. I like Ground War though. I like it a lot. Interestingly enough, I think this is kind of funny. The least like COD part of the multiplayer in this game is my favorite part. You have like the straight Battlefield ripoff mode, and that is my favorite part about this year's Call of Duty. I just think that's kind of funny. But yeah, when it comes to Ground War, as with everything in this game, it's not perfect, and it could be a lot better. But just like overall, I think the style of it is pretty enjoyable, and most of all, not having to deal with skill-based matchmaking. I'd say that's the biggest thing. Because is Ground War really that good? No, I don't think so. The maps for Ground War, you can tell that they're ripped from Battle Royale locations, right? Like, the maps for Ground War aren't designed that well. The best map, in my opinion, the one that I enjoy the most, Anaya Palace, isn't on the Ground War map, which isn't that surprising that, you know, that a map actually designed to be played for the mode would work best for it instead of these, you know, these other point of interest that aren't really designed to be played in the mode. They just kind of like make it for a BR and then they rip it and try to turn it into this other thing. I would say that's like my biggest problem with Ground War. I wish they made specific maps for it instead of ripping these maps because it would just play out so much better. But yeah, Ground War, not perfect, but overall enjoyable, and it had me, you know, interested in the BR, obviously, because we have in Ground War, even though like the gameplay is not the same, you have like these big environments literally taken from the BR map, so you get that preview there, and obviously like the big fights as well. 64 players in a server, something really new for Call of Duty, and with the BR here we have 150, so kind of like gets me ready for that. And seeing it work pretty well in Ground War had me interested in this BR, because I was like, okay, you know, if it can work in that, then it should be able to work pretty decently here. So now onto the BR. Things that like concern me right off the rip before we even get into it. These are concerns I had going in. Okay, so this is like before it came out. Hadn't started playing it. I knew that it was going to be a thing, and this is what already concerned me. Footsteps. Footsteps have been an issue in this game forever. I don't think footstep audio has ever not been an issue in this game. It still is to this day. I would argue it's still an issue. One that Infinity Ward is just going to leave unresolved, I guess. I think there's a pretty easy fix in regular multiplayer, which is to make dead silence a perk. I think that's a pretty easy fix, but it's just never going to happen. The way they've decided to go about the game, it is not going to happen. Now, as far as a BR goes, I'm not in favor of that. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want dead silence to be a perk in a BR. I'm fine with it being the upgrade, I guess, because you know it's RNG and it's annoying, but it's a BR or whatever. It's just the way it's going to be. But yeah, in a BR environment, I figured that the footsteps maybe wouldn't bother me as much as they do in regular multiplayer, but I wasn't sure. There's also like the negative side you could take there too, which is like it could make things even worse. Obviously, in regular multiplayer, people still play pretty seriously and super slowly in this game, super campy. But in a BR environment where, you know, things are on the line, you queue up for these games, takes time to get into these games, takes time to get all your loot and stuff like that, the whole footstep audio situation might make things even more campy. But at the same time, you don't want the footstep audio to be too low in a BR, because then you just get like snuck up on. You can just run around in dumb ways and not have to worry about anything. Like there's a right balance you have to strike. That was a concern going in. Luckily, I can say now that it's been out, that I don't think, well, I think the footstep audio, when it works, is not that bad in this BR. I think it's not that bad. The problem is, there seems to be like audio bugs right now, where audio just does not play. I don't know why this is a problem in every single BR. Like, literally every BR that I play, I feel like I'm talking about fucking audio every time. I don't know why. It's getting super old. But apparently, you know, it's a thing here too, because there are certain times where I will check the kill cam, enemy does not have dead silence, and they will just be full on double sprinting right at me for like a good 5 seconds, like 5 feet away on a rooftop, like a metal rooftop, and I just won't hear anything. And this doesn't just apply to footsteps. There are other audio bugs of just like audio cutting out in the BR that I've experienced. I don't really know what's going on with that, but with footsteps, obviously that's like the biggest annoyance, and you know, hopefully they can work on that. Other concerns going in, time to kill. I would say footsteps, time to kill. That's like the two biggest concerns going in. So as far as time to kill goes, now that I've had time to play the BR, I don't necessarily dislike where it's at in Warzone. I think my issue with it is that I don't know how much damage I'm doing ever. I never understand. I have not understood at all throughout all the time that I played Warzone. It's been out for like a week now. I have not gotten an understanding of how much damage I'm doing still. And that's a big issue for me. Like things that I don't even like Fortnite, but this is something that Fortnite and Apex do really well. Damage numbers, right? Damage numbers. One thing that I really like about those games, two things, because I'm gonna get into something else related to that or connected with that here in a second, is damage numbers. I love being able to see the damage numbers. I love that I don't need to, you know, go online and look up damage charts and figure out how armor works and how it like reduces your damage by 25%, or if it works like a shield or whatever. I like that in those games, Apex and Fortnite, I can see, you know, in Fortnite you can even see the numbers of your own health and the numbers of your own shield. In Apex you can't see the numbers, but you get the bars, so you have like good info on your own health and shields, and you have good info on how much damage you're putting out. And on top of that, in those games, the shields too, like it'll be a different color. Fortnite, different color, different sound if you're doing damage to a shield opponent. Apex, same thing, different color, different sound if you're doing damage to armor. And this game does have the different hit markers for armor and whatnot, but I don't understand how armor works in this game. I don't. It is not explained. I don't know how armor works. I don't know if armor adds on health. I don't know if it reduces the damage that you take. Like, that's how I think blackout armor worked. I don't understand how armor works, and I don't like that. I really enjoy with those other BRs that it's just like they don't hide it. It's just like, you want to know how it works? Here you go. You know what I mean? Like in Apex is very clearly lined out. You can see it when you pick up the shield. It's like, oh, white shield's 50, blue shield's 75, purple shield's 100, and that's just like how much health it is, how much extra damage you can take. Fortnite, you get a shield pot, it's 50 shields, mini shields, 25. You can see how much that adds up to. This game, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I need to look it up. I need to go YouTube. I need to go to another source. That's information that I don't think they should be withholding from the players. I think that's a very, very, very basic core part of the mode that should just be explained up front. I don't understand why I need to YouTube how the hell it works. So that's something that I think they should change. Add it to the tutorial or something. I don't know. You know, make it very clear for the players how the armor works. And I think they should make some changes with the armor system too. Like, for one, plates, man. I'm okay with armor plates. The way it works is fine, except for the fact that, like, if you look at the screen right now, and you look at my health in the bottom left, and you look at the armor. Okay, let's say I take like 1 1/4 bars damage, right? So let's say I'm full 3 bars. I take 1 1/4 bars damage, which leaves me at about 1 3/4 of bars, right? Okay, so I'm gonna have, put it this way, if you can't visualize that, I'm gonna have a little bit over half of my armor. All right, a bit over half my armor. When I put on a plate, okay, it should give me. This is how I think it should work. I think this is just intuitive. It should give you a full bar. So if I have 1 3/4 of armor filled up, and I put on a plate, it should put me to 2 3/4 of armor. That's how it should work. How it actually works is it fills up the bar. So if I have 1 3/4 of armor, and I put it on a plate, it puts me to 2 armor. Okay, that makes no sense. Like, if you're confused, understandable. It doesn't make sense. It's stupid. It should not work like that. It's counterintuitive. It doesn't make sense. I don't know how else to put it. It just doesn't make sense. I think that they should change that and make it so that when you put on a plate, it just gives you that full bar. Doesn't matter what you're at. You know, it doesn't matter how full your bar is. Just gives you a bar of armor. That's how it should work. Another thing. Amount of plates. Plates are way too scarce. And this makes the game campy. There are a lot of things that make the game campy. The overall thing that we're going to get into, because there's still a lot more left of this video, I wanted to show a full gameplay. And if you're thinking, man, this game is dragging on, you're right. I think that's my least favorite part of this BR right now, is just the drag on. But there's a lot of contributing factors here. I think my biggest thing is that this game is just like super campy and super slow. And same thing with the main game. Same thing with the main game. There's a lot of contributing factors, decisions that the devs have made that make it play slower. Like we talked about the footsteps earlier, right? That's going to make it play slower. The time to kill is longer, but still inconsistent. I'm not the only one that thinks this. If you've played this, I think you agree. I don't know what it is with the time to kill in the BR compared to the multiplayer. Like, everybody knows that joke deaths happen in COD sometimes, but the time to kill just feels super inconsistent to me in BR. Like, oddly inconsistent. The thing that I like about the multiplayer in this game is I feel pretty consistent about the time to kill. I have a pretty good feel in the multiplayer of this game about how many shots it takes me to kill, you know, with which weapons at like which ranges. I have a pretty good feel of it. In the BR, no. No, absolutely not. And part of it is the damage numbers, but like, I just don't know what's going on. And some of these gunfights that I win or lose, I don't know how I'm winning or losing these fights. It just feels like I'm tossing a coin. And I hate that. Absolutely hate that in a BR. So I don't know what they could do to fix that. I don't know if it's a netcode issue. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it has to do with the way armor works, but just one thing to get out of the way here. Time to kill is weird. Is very weird in this BR. I don't know what it is, but it is just like something is off about it. And let me know in the comments if you've experienced the same thing, because I've seen other people say this. I'm not the only person that has experienced this. It just feels off compared to the multiplayer, whereas like if I was playing multiplayer, I'd say that's the strength of it. It's pretty consistent. Anyways, going I'm going all over the place now. So we were talking about, you know, slowing down the pace of the game. Armor plates, right? You can only carry 5. Okay, so let's say you get ripped for armor. You can put 3 on, and then you only have 2 in reserve. I don't think you can carry enough armor plates. I think you should be able to carry like 8, 9, 10 armor plates at least. Because the thing here is, I think for a good healthy balance in a BR, you need to give people reasons to be aggressive, right? Go for kills. In this game, you could say money, but that's not really true, right? Most people spend their money. So you don't go around killing people for money. The only way you get money off of killing people is if you get like a good timing on them, or they're not prioritizing the buy stations like they should be. So, you know, why do you want to kill people? Money? No. No, not really. It's not a very reliable source of money. You'd have a better time just looting around the map, gaining money, than trying to kill people. Okay? Why do you go around to kill people? Get extra loot, right? Get better stuff? No. No. Why would you do that? You could just go around and loot, get money, get loadout drops, you know, get your plates. You just get money. Go around the map and loot. That's how you get your best stuff. You're not going to get better stuff off of killing people. You know? You want your own loadout. You don't want what they're using. So, like, to get weapons? No. Oh, what about armor, right? You want to go around kill people, get armor? No. Have you played the game? Like, you don't get armor plates off of dead people. You don't. You can't carry enough. Everybody already has all their plates used, or are just like scrapping for them so hard that they don't have any extra. So why do you want to kill people in this BR? Money? No. Armor? No. Weapons? Supplies? No. Like, why? What incentive is there? Like in Apex, it's like, oh, I have a white shield. I want to have a purple shield so I can have a stronger chance of winning the game. Let's go around, kill some people, see if we can find people with better equipment. It's going to be a hard fight, but if we take them on and win it, then we'll get that better equipment. You could say the same thing for Apex, like, oh yeah, well you could go around and loot, but it's not like this where you're guaranteed stuff. You know what I mean? It's not like this where you have money and you can go to a buy station and you're guaranteed getting full armor plates if you have the money. You're guaranteed getting like UAV self-res if you can find the money around the map, which there's a lot of money around the map. Okay, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. All the like objectives and stuff that you can do, it ain't that difficult. It just does not work out the same. Okay, it just what I'm getting at here, it just does not work out the same. In this game right now, there are just not enough. There's not enough of an incentive to move around and kill people, and it's gonna make it play really slow. That's just the way I see it going, and it's already like that. It's already playing really slow. And the sweatier it gets, as it tends to do with BRs, it's just going to get slower and slower if they don't make changes. Because, again, I think people are going to realize, why go for kills? You know? And most people play BRs to win, alright? At this point, I play BRs to go around and get the high kill counts because I think it's fun. I think that's the most fun way to play it. Is that why most people play BR? No, I don't think so. Okay? Even people that are, like, playing for fun, they want to win, right? That's what they want. And the best way to win in this... is to run around the map wisely and loot up and use your supplies as sparingly as possible. You know, play zones, do the missions so that you can know where the next zones are. Don't like overcommit to fights, and be really smart about what fights you take so that you don't waste resources, so that when you get to the end game, you still have plates, you still have whatever. That is the best way to win in this game. It is not like other BRs that we've seen. The one, you know, the main one that I like is Apex, where you are encouraged to take fights so you can get better stuff and have a better chance of winning the game. You know what I mean? In Apex, if you take like a risky fight, but you get those 3 purple shields, you can probably take on that team that has like the 3 white shields gatekeeping you and beat them. You know what I mean? You can do that in Apex. Is there anything like that in here? Not really. Not really. Not that I can see so far, so that's something that they need to work on. Okay, let's get through some other stuff here, because I mostly been talking about just like my thoughts on it. There's still a lot more that I haven't gotten to. Respawning. I think respawning is maybe, I'm just going to like rapid fire things at the end here because we only have so much time left. I think respawning is maybe like a little too friendly It should maybe cost a little bit more every time you respawn a teammate or something. I think they're a little friendly with respawns right now. The gulag thing, like the 1v1 to get your life back, that's cool. That's pretty cool. There's some things about it that I don't like. I don't like that pistols is fine. I don't like that shotguns are such a frequent gun in it, because shotguns are so, everybody knows. Okay, COD shotguns, RNG. RNG, like, it's not the most skillful weapon to have a 1v1 with. The pistol's fine, whatever. But gulag, like the concept of the gulag is cool. It's a little memey with like the rocks and stuff, and there's certain stupid things you can do, like spraying people so they're easier to see, dumb stuff like that. Like, there's some questionable things with it, okay, but like, it's a cool concept. So gulag is cool. I think respawns are a little too friendly. I think loadout drops need to be rethought. I'm kind of torn because, like, I think everybody can admit, like, getting your own loadout is cool and fun, but it is so ridiculously OP, and I think the game would honestly play a lot better without loadout drops. I would like to see them really soon, because I don't think it'd be that hard to work in, do a version of this without loadout drops, just to experiment, okay? They don't even need to adjust the loot pool, because the loot pool isn't very good right now. The loot pool's, like, very much so, like, the same 3 guns, which is sad with how many guns they actually have in this game. But you know, it's fine for now because the game is clearly like designed around the loadout drops. I would like to see them do a limited time mode, take the loadout drops out, and see how it plays. Just let it sit there for a week and see how it plays. I think this would play a lot better if it was like you find your guns around the map and then you like work to buy attachments and stuff like that, and there'd be a bit more of like a progression to the game. You know what I mean? With that way, like there'd be a bit more progression to it. It's not like now where, you know, 5 minutes into the game you get your cash, you get your loadout drop, you're already set for endgame. It feels like there's no progression in this BR compared to other BRs. Like Apex, a lot of games you go from like a white to a blue to a purple shield. Fortnite, I don't know, you go from like having so much equipment to like if you're wiping out the whole lobby, you have like a ton of mats, ton of ammo, ton of heals at the end. In this, it just feels like, you know, you just loot around it a little bit in the beginning, and then you've got you're just good. You're just good to go. Like, there's just not much of a progression there. But yeah, so I think the loadout drops need to be rethought, and I think it would potentially be more fun without them. I think they should at least consider experimenting with it. I think the pace of the game needs to be stepped up. Like the zones, the size of the zones maybe needs to be reworked, and like the timing on the zones closing in needs to be reworked. Because like once it gets to the point where the zones start moving, they start moving, and it feels good. I feel like the beginning portion of the game is too long. I feel like they give you way too much time to like set up in the beginning. There's like a certain portion of every game, like from after like the beginning drop to like the 3rd zone or something like that, where it is just a ghost town sometimes and just nothing happens. So I would like to see that reworked a little bit. Like that portion of the game, there's many things, like I said, they could do. They could adjust the zone, the size of the zones, they could adjust the times. Like there's things they could do to make it better, because right now there's a certain portion of the game where it just becomes dead and there's just nothing going on, and it becomes like the most boring BR out there. And I'm not even being negative, like just play the game, literally, like just play the game. You'll agree with me. Like there's just a point in the game where nothing is going on, and you could say like, oh well, you know, you're looting or you're doing the contracts. It's like, bro, I've been playing BRs. Okay, BRs have been big for years now. I've been playing BRs. I'm sick of looting. I don't want to have to loot for 20 minutes. Like, just, I don't have to loot for 20 minutes. Just, you know, speed up the action. This has been one of my main complaints of BRs like recently, is just get to the action, right? Like, looting is not the fun part of the game. The fun part of the game are the fights. Okay, and there's like just a whole portion in this BR in particular where the pacing just goes to crap, and all you're doing is looting and sitting there and waiting on the zone. There are some times where we get a decent spot in the zone, I literally just lay down in a corner and go on my phone and wait, because there's just nothing better to do. I'll have more to talk about with Warzone. There's a lot that I left out. I mostly wanted to get like the grievances out in this one. I think the main positive, to end the video on a positive note, is that when you get to those points, when you get those games where people actually play it for action, when you get those games where people forget what game they're playing and just act like they're playing a normal COD, and like, you know, you finally get to that end zone, those games are fun. Okay, when it works out, it's fun. There's things that IW could do to make it more consistent, to make it more fun all the way around. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you next time.